but it's all mindset. If it's not a dagger through you and you're still breathing, walking, talking, breathing, even if you're not walking, if you're just talking, if you're breathing, there's a chance you can still do it. Don't give up. If you have a dream, keep pushing. Don't quit. You will succeed. You will get there. I'm about to prove that right now. Hello and welcome back to Talk About Strange. I hope you guys are doing great today. Thank you for joining me here. I just want to share a little bit of a story based upon my life and my life experiences and things that have happened to me. I've been just doing a lot of soul searching lately and really just talking to all of you and reading the comments and talking back and forth. I see so many resemblances in my life and in your life that sometimes there's times that I felt like I was completely alone and I was the only one. Not, I knew I wasn't the only one experiencing it, but I was the only one experiencing me, my life, my experiences. People tell you, hey, you're not the only one, but it doesn't always give you a lot of comfort because just because somebody else is going through it doesn't make it any easier on you on what you're going through in your life, your battles you're facing, your challenges you're facing. So today is going to be right now is going to be a little bit of a philosophical maybe type of message that I'm going to be sending to you. So, you can leave if you want to, but hopefully some of this might touch some of you guys and help some of you guys in your challenges and the things that you're experiencing and what you're going through in your life, whether it be hauntings or Bigfoot or whatever it might be, cryptid paranormal, whatever you're going through, or just stuff in your own personal life that you're dealing with that's become very difficult and weighing on you. So this is going to take a little bit of honesty on my behalf. As you guys already know, I wear my heart on my sleeve and I really care about people. So that's kind of what this is based on. I'm really just hoping I can reach out to some of you and maybe help you guys out with some stuff, while I'm here doing this. So, all right. So I'm going to go back a little bit in my life. I'm going to step way back. Unfortunately, a really, really, really long time ago, when I was a little kid. It's quite of an adventure. I talked about my first haunting and stuff like that, but what I didn't talk about is some of the nightmares I had as a kid. And I think all of us probably have this one or two nightmares that you remember that haunts you, or it's just there in your memory bank, and every once in a while you recall it and think, wow, I can't believe I had that nightmare. For instance, I had this nightmare that me and my brothers had been taken by witches. This witch had gotten us. It was probably from watching Wizard of Oz or something like that. So anyway, my brothers and I, we were taken, and this witches had us lined up. And we wanted to know what they were going to do. I asked, what are you going to do to us? What are you going to do to us? And they said, we're going to eat you. So, it was horrifying. And I was like, what do you mean? And they showed us this person with their insides hollowed out. It's like, and it's like, wow, so I was terrified. And I hate to admit this, but my oldest brother, we didn't always get along. I said, he's bigger than me. You should probably have him first. Terrible. What a jerk, right? I probably deserve anything I get. Anyway, but it was a terrifying dream. And then I had another dream that I was standing on a bridge looking out into the fog, and I seen dinosaurs up, in the fog. That one wasn't so much of a nightmare. I wasn't afraid I was going to be killed, but it was just a wild dream. But the most vivid dream I had that was probably the hardest for me and haunted me throughout my whole life is, as a kid, I remember going out to my kitchen. I was going out to go to the bathroom or to get a drink or something. And I was attacked by these little, those mountain climbing men. I can't remember what they call them offhand. They had pickaxes and all that, and some had beards or whatever. And I had to fight these. They were trying to kill me. They were attacking me, and I'd flip them over and throw them on the ground. They'd disappear and they'd pop back up. And I had this dream over and over again about fighting them, and they were attacking me. And I guess that this is a two-part, really. That was one that I remembered. The one I remembered the most was Satan. now I went to Catholic school, Catholic church growing up, and there's a lot of brimstone, whatever, you know what I mean. So I went out onto our porch. We had a second story porch, and for some reason I went there, and I had a sword, which was cool, and I was fighting Satan, like Satan was trying to get me. And to me, it wasn't about the sword fighting with him. I'm a kid, but he's trying to reach and grab me and slash at me, and I'm throwing my sword around. I'm fighting him off. I'm trying to stop him, but I always knew or felt that he was trying to get to my soul. I always felt that. I've always felt throughout my whole life, and I don't know if it was something I heard in church that was just embedded in me, that the devil was trying to get my soul. He wanted my soul. I don't know why. I never knew why. I guess maybe it's just a normal thing. I'm curious if anybody else has had that nightmare or nightmares like that. But this happened several times when I was a kid and made a huge impact on my life, because throughout my life, I've always felt the same thing, like the devil is after my soul. So when you talk about things that happen in your life and you ask yourself, why are they happening? Why are these things happening to me? I've always literally felt like all of my struggles all the time was the devil trying to get me to, I don't know, turn bad, because, I always had a strong belief in God, and I would never take the Lord's name in vain. Growing up and stuff, I always felt very strongly about that. If my friends did it, I hollered at them. It was one of those things that I felt very strongly about, and I felt like he was trying to get my soul. So no matter what, as I got older, don't get me wrong, I had fun as a kid. I had a lot of fun. I played. I was a typical kid. We hiked in the woods and camped out and did all kinds of wild and crazy stuff, kid stuff, then as a teenager. But I always, every time something would go wrong in my life, I felt like this is an obstacle or the devil trying to get to me, trying to run me down, to turn myself over to them, and so a lot of bad things would happen throughout my life that I had to deal with, a lot of obstacles. Now, I've always felt like, from the time I was a little kid, and I think I mentioned this before, I wanted to be on TV. I remember I bet you I was 3 or 4, maybe 5 years old maximum. And I'd wake up at night and I'd go sit in front of our Benjamin Franklin fire stove, wood stove, and I'd open the metal part of it and just watch the flames and crackling and listening to it, and just dream about, it was relaxing, and I would dream about, not, sleeping dream, but daydream, night dream, whatever, about becoming a TV star, being on TV. Not so much even being an actual TV star. I wanted to meet all those TV stars, people, Elvis Presley, and, just so many just different TV heroes I had. And I wanted to be involved in TV. Even when I watched TV, I always thought about the theatrics and the editing and how they did it. That's, so much I wanted to know. I begged my parents to get me involved in TV. Begged them. I wanted to go to some kind of a studio or training, to be on TV. And so that was my lifelong dream. I knew that as a little kid. A lot of people know what they want to be as little kids, and it actually works out for them, and they start into it. And I can give a shout out to Mr. Beast. I recently watched him, and man, as a little kid, he started right off knowing he wanted to be a YouTuber or whatever, make videos. And that was me as well, except way years before him. I wanted to do the same thing, but something always kept me from doing it. Something always stopped me. So I begged my parents, I begged my mother. And she finally said, okay, I'm going to put you in. Unfortunately, my parents ended up getting divorced and moving and stuff, so that stopped it. I'm like, okay, I brushed it off and I moved on. I still wanted to, so I did some creative writing and stuff of my own. I didn't have any training. I did that. And later on, I moved. My grandfather passed away. My grandmother was living alone. She was diagnosed with cancer, so I wanted to help her out. So I moved in with her. I think I was 13 at the time, maybe 13, 14. So I moved in with her, and while I was there, I did some drawing. And I did worked on some creative writing and stuff like that, just trying to write scripts and stuff. And they were horrible. I did that. So then again, as I was living with her, and she was getting better and stuff, and I started thinking about that again when I was, 14, probably coming up on 15 years old. I started thinking about wanting to go to school for that, School of the Arts. And then little by little, I watched my grandmother die, and it really hit me deeply because I was very close to my grandparents. So that kind of tore me up. And then I just became a rebellious teenager, partying, drinking, running around, being crazy. And so I felt like that was, again, another roadblock, just another stop. But again, I'm young. I brushed it off and I moved on. So then as I got older, I realized I wanted to get away from that scene and partying and stuff like that. And that's all my friends wanted to do. And I always was career oriented. I wanted to have a career. I eventually moved away and was going to join the military and go to get a military degree or whatever, let them pay for college, be able to travel around and go to acting school. And I was going to do it that way. And then I met my wife. No regrets, but I met my wife, and so that that got put back on the back burner. Again, I'm still young in that, but then we finally got to a place where we thought we were in a good spot. And she had a pretty rough run because her mother died in front of her basically when she was very young, so she was dealing with that. Then we had our first son, who ended up passing away the day after he was born. I had a bad back injury. It was every single time I started getting close to my dreams, something would get put in front of me. And while these things were slowly going from a blessing to a curse, because I had these dreams, these things that I wanted to do more than anything in the world. This is what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do it. But I was raised in a contractor family, construction family. And so that's what I learned from my father. I started doing drywall when I was like 12. As soon as I could stand on stilts, I learned how to use stilts, and I started mudding walls, nails, and sanding, and I got into construction. So, and I became very good at it. So that's what I did. I did construction. And every time I tried to get away from it, I'd get sucked back into it. I tried to find different jobs to get away from construction because I hated it, really. There was a lot of gratification in it. Don't get me wrong. I loved creating things and building things, and that was my creative outlet. But I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do my entire life. In 2000 or around 2000, I wrote a novel called Sasha the Spirit Guardian. It's up here. I tried to get that published, and the editing was terrible on it. So I tried to find an editor, a good editor. Yeah, I wrote it in 2000 because it was 2003 before I finally got the editing done, I thought. I found a professional editor to do it. I had reached out to a publishing company in California this guy was, Adam, was very interested in it. He said it was an amazing book, but you got to get it properly edited. So I sent that book out, or I finally got it edited. It took me a year from the time I talked to him. When I called him up, he didn't answer. Somebody else answered. And they said, I'm sorry. Adam left. He went into some other business doing something else. But they said, wait, now you're Steve Camp? And I said, yeah. And I was like shocked. They knew my name. They said, well, we've been waiting for this. And I said, are you serious? And they said, yeah. He told us about it. We have notes here. We've been waiting for you to, for this. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it. I'm finally going to make it. I'm finally going to get my break. I sent the book in to them, and they or the manuscript, and they read it and wrote me back and said, we're sorry. This was too mainstream for them or something like that. And some of the stuff in the book was a little bit too violent for them or something. So they weren't interested in it at this time. So that door closed. I have a whole bunch of letters, envelopes from people I sent it out to, but everybody that read it, I guess besides them, absolutely fell in love with it. Loved it, said it should be a movie, this and that, phenomenal book. And I wrote some other stuff I was working on. I never quite finished. I still have it. I still remember them. About 6 different novels I have in my head, but I never did it. And I self-published this one. I had a lot of fun. I maybe sold 3,000 copies or something. It's on Amazon. But nobody ever picked it up. Like, and I don't know. And I didn't push it much further because I was working full time. When I wrote the book, it felt like it was dumped in my head. I had to write it. So I wrote it, and I thought this was going to be it, but it wasn't. So that kind of got put on the back burner, and I still like to do something with them someday, and maybe I'll redo that book. But then I kept working. I got another job in home energy, and I invented a couple of tools for the home energy field, and the one of these big Dow or something like that companies that we were buying material from came and looked at my tool that I'd invented and said, I'm a genius. In 25 years, he'd been working in business, never seen anything like it. We want it. Get it done. Get your stuff done. We want it. We'll buy it from you, whatever. So I got this ready. I'm thinking, this is it. Now, I spent every day out in the cold, because I showed him a rough mock-up of it. I spent every day out in my garage. I'd go out there. 5 degrees out there. I'd go out there 10, 15 minutes making my prototype, and then go inside, warm my hands up, go back out. And I did this until I got a prototype made that I could get off to somebody else. I did blueprints, drawings, kept working on it, got it all together. By the time I got this together and I got a hold of them and I said, here it is, you ready? His manager had changed to another manager, and I don't know what happened, but they said, no, we're not interested in that. Thanks anyway. So I was like, the door shut again, another roadblock. I didn't know who else to reach out to, so I had a prototype, and so I found local people. I started having them made and developed and making them and selling them. And then one winter, things got really bad. We were broke, hungry, had to pay the bills. So I ended up selling my patents for little to nothing to just pay the bills. And that dream, I think I probably should have been a millionaire from it, but it just never happened. It was another obstacle. Again, blessing. It was a curse, but I kept going. Throughout my entire life, I've never given up. I've always known that you can't quit no matter how hard things are. You just can't quit. If you have a dream, you just got to keep going. You just got to keep pushing, because eventually you are going to make it. You are going to get through all those obstacles, and eventually you're going to get where you want to be. Not only have I told myself this, I've told other people this. Don't quit, no matter how hard things seem to be. And I think it's really important, and something I'm realizing again more lately is it feels like the entire world is coming down on top of you. It feels like the walls are closing in. And if you let that happen to you, it will destroy you. All right? Eventually it will close in and it will crush you. It will take you down. But it's all a mindset. It's all in your mind. Not all in your mind, but it's all mindset. If it's not a dagger through you and you're still breathing, walking, talking, breathing, even if you're not walking, if you're just talking, if you're breathing, there's a chance you can still do it. So that was just a quick note. So I kept going. I kept pushing. All right. But I did get tired. I was sick of construction. Like I said, I wanted out. I was doing residential construction for people. I finally got to a point at, I think I was 52. And we had a mortgage company that was ripping us off. We lived in this house for 22 years and our mortgage went up like $10,000 from the time we bought it. So every time we made a payment, the principal, would add a miscellaneous fee to that principal plus an extra like $10, $15 or whatever. And I didn't even realize this was all happening. So when I finally decided we had to sell this house. When I realized it, I said, we got to sell it. We got to get out of here. So I fixed it up the best I could to get it gone. And we put it on the market. We walked away. When it was all said and done, we had $15,000 after we paid our bills because we were behind on everything. I mean, things were bad. We raised our 3 daughters. They all wore nice clothes to school. They all had food on the table. I worked 7 days a week doing construction, night and day, to make sure they were taken care of, and made sure I spent some time with all of them. And so we sold this house with like $15,000 left. This was literally, what is that, Baltic Ave, where we lived, you could call it. So I found a house that I liked, and I told my wife, I says, I'm going to buy this house. Nobody was living there. So I got to find out who owns it. And she says, you got to remodel. There's no way you're going to get it. And I said, I'm going to get it. I said, what if I can get it for $5,000? And she goes, there's no way you're going to buy that house for $5,000. So I found the person that had it, took a lot, found him. And I met him at work. And he come out, he says, yeah, we're getting ready to tear it down. We don't know what else to do with it. And I says, well, I'd like it. I go, how much you want for it? And he says, I don't know. Will you give me $5,000 for it? And that was my sign. So I'm like, awesome. So I bought that house for $5,000, and we gutted it, remodeled it, turned it into this cute little house we lived in, fenced in the yard. It was a tiny yard, but when it was fenced in, it made it feel like a big yard. It was really nice. We fenced that in, and we moved in there. And to me, I was retired, like in my mind, because at that point, I didn't have any real overhead. We paid our bills. We didn't have a car payment. I can just do part-time jobs and maybe start working on writing or working on something. I don't know. So around that time is when Chip and Joanna Gaines started Fixer Upper. I loved that show. And there's a couple of them out there like that. I think a little bit before that. Well, they started actually before that. Then there was also Fixer Flip, that show. And I loved that show too. So that was the big thing. That's what was coming up. Well, my son-in-law says to me, let's start a business. I said, oh my God, you're an idiot. No, I didn't call him an idiot. Actually, I called him an asshole, to be honest with you. Because I was done. I didn't want to do it no more. But, I'm an entrepreneur and had dreams. So I said, all right, if we're going to do anything, we got to flip houses. So we went into house flipping. I said, if we're going to house flip, we have to do it in Florida. We live in New York. So we packed up, family of 8, everybody, wife, kids, all the kids, everyone. We packed up and we head to Florida. We spent a year there. We bought the first house we found we found a realtor before we even got there, hard money lender. And we got there we had $27,000 when we got to $28,000 when we got there. And I had to have $21,000 down. Yeah, or $20,000 down. So I had $8,000 anyway to work with. $8,000. Family of 8, living in Florida, and we had to fix this house up and have it fixed, done, sold within a month and a half, 2 months. So, and it was a major remodel. So I started working deals with everybody, contractors. We did it. We pulled it off. Our realtor even told me, I've never seen anybody that could pull off something like this. Pulled it off, got it done, got the house done, sold it for quite a bit. We made a good chunk of money on it, but it's worth way more now in the market. Like, it doubled in value. We sold that house, and then we bought one more, like way over, like 45-minute drive from us in Port Orange, like a bungalow style house. Beautiful place. I'll throw a couple pictures of these up in the video so you can see what we did to it. Maybe I can find some before and after, but a beautiful house with a view of the Halifax River, but we had to clean stuff out in order to even see the river. So we busted our tails on this. So the person we were renting from, we weren't paying rent. We had to do work for him in exchange for rent. So we were working full-time, almost full-time for him, or part-time for him. Did a full remodel of this house to make extra money to keep going, because we didn't make enough to really live. We only made enough to get another house. We did built an office inside our landlord that we were staying with. We built a 30 by 60 office inside of his building for his printer room. He has these giant printers that he uses. So we built a printer room for him. And then another house, a friend of my brother's, he wanted his house remodeled. We did a full remodel of his house. And then we remodeled this house in Port Orange. I think every time we went to the beach, it seemed like it rained because that was the only days we could take off. So we spent a year there just working nonstop. My family was miserable. They wanted to go. They were at each other's throats. It was horrible. They were wearing down on me because they were just bickering constantly. They didn't like the bugs. They didn't like the traffic. They didn't like the heat. My daughters liked it. I liked it. there's just so much conflict. I finally said, "Do you guys want to go?" And they're like, "Yes, let's go. We want to go back home." So we come home, went to an auction, bought the house that we sold a couple of years ago here, a year and a half ago. We bought that house, gave our kids money, got them on their feet. They went their way. I got back. By the time we bought this house, moved in, we were broke. I mean, like literally few bucks in our pocket. We were broke. I talked a hard money lender into backing me, but it was going to cost me a lot extra. I told him the only thing I could do right now is go back in house flipping. So here we are, broke again, but we had a house. I had to leverage my house that I had and then get this other house. We didn't have enough to finish this big house. It was 3,200 square foot house. It was huge. We didn't quite have enough to finish it. So I begged them, "Come on, I need $5,000 to finish this. $5,000. I said, if you don't give me the $5,000, I'm going to lose the house. I mean, I'm running out of time and I'm out of money." They wouldn't do it. So I had to find a way to come up with the money, and I did. It was hard, but I did. And I had to make deals, which cost me even more with people and promises. But we got that house done. We sold it. We made enough money on it to do another one also with a hard money lender. So we went, found another one. It was a complete remodel. We did that one. I mean, this is 7 days a week, night and day, 2-3 hours of sleep a night. We did that one. That one got us enough to where the next one, we didn't need a hard money lender. So we bought two. Actually, we bought two at this point. The one was a little one, so we quick banged that out. The next one was huge, another huge remodel. That was in 2020 when I was working on that one. COVID was only just it wasn't even quite getting talked about because I got it before it hit. I ended up in bed for a week and a half. I lost 15 pounds. And I mean, I was really, I was begging for death. I got back on my feet. I went back and I finished the house. I was working alone. By the time I got done with that house, I was so exhausted and frustrated. I'd become so tired that I needed that house done. We had to sell it because we had the other whole house sold. We used that money into this. I put $100,000 into this house and was working nonstop. By the time I got done with this house, when I was walking outside, I was looking, and there was a barn out the back. I could see myself hanging from the rafters. Literally, I could see myself hanging almost every time I walked outside. It had gotten that bad, and I had allowed myself to dive into that anger and pain and frustration and feeling like my life is a curse, like I'm just being cursed. Because no matter what, no matter how hard I work, I just couldn't get there. Now, at this time, I think I'm probably 52, probably at the time, somewhere around 52, 53. And I'm thinking I'm cursed. You know, I'm tired. I'm tired of it. And so one day I walked out and I started to walk to the barn. I accepted it. Like I was on my way. I was going to go hang myself. And my life literally flashed before my eyes. My children, my wife, my children flashed before my eyes. The laughing, the good times. And then I seen them crying and what it would do to them. And I'm like, holy crap, what am I doing? Why am I this house ain't worth it. None of it's worth it. I realized at that point, even if I lose this house, I still have my life and my family. None of it is worth it. So I stopped. I stopped myself right there. And I stopped and I looked at the house and I looked at the barn. I looked at the house and I thought, okay, I don't even care if I get it done. I'm going to continue working. I'm going to finish it. But I don't care how long it takes. I'm just going to finish it. And I'm going to reset my mind because that was a mindset. I had allowed myself to believe that I couldn't go any further. I allowed myself to believe that this was the end, that I'm done with this. Why do I keep torturing myself? I might as well just end it. But no, because as long as you're breathing, as long as you're alive, there's a chance. You just got to keep going. So, lo and behold, I mean, really, things smoothed out a lot from there. We finished the house. I finished the house. My wife did the painting, bless her heart, because there's another huge house and a lot of painting. I helped out, but she did most of the painting. She did a wonderful job. So we got the house done. We sold it, and we made $100,000 on that house. I mean, we made really good money on that house. So thank goodness that I kept going because it did turn out. I wanted to be done. I kept every house. I said, this is the last house I'm not doing anymore. I'm done. This is it. I'm burnt out. I'm done. I can't do no more. Well, I told my realtor, because I couldn't retire. I mean, even with $100,000, you can't retire. I had a lot of bills, a lot of expenses to pay out of that. So there wasn't that much left. So I needed one easy one. So my realtor says, I got one for you. Real easy, simple, quick. So I took it on. It was a nice, easy one. And then after that, there was another one that we'd been wanting for a very long time. We thought we'd never get, but we finally cut a deal and we got it. So I said, well, that's the last one. So we got it and did this full remodel. My daughter worked with me a lot. Phenomenal. She did a great job. I'm so proud of her. And this place was disgusting. I mean, this was not a place that a girl belonged, but she worked in there. We had rat poop falling out of the ceiling on our backs and stuff in our hair. It was disgusting, but we did it, man. We got through it. She stayed there almost totally to the end. I think she did stay to the very end. In fact, she installed the flooring. So her and my other daughter helped her out too, I think. But we got that house done, and we got it on the market, and we did really good on that. And it was the last house that I did. That was October. We finished on my birthday, October 5th of 2022. We finished that house. And we put it on the market and we sold it. And I told my wife I'm done. They laughed at me. I told the kids I'm done. They laughed at me. They said, no, you're not. You're not. You keep saying that, but you're not done. I said, no, I'm done. This is it. I'm done. I says, if I don't stop, it's going to kill me anyway. So I might as well just stop. Just physically it would kill me. So I stopped. And obviously October, by the time we closed and everything, we're getting into winter. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I started trying to figure out what I was going to do. We're coming into winter, and I told my wife that I want to build a pole barn. We own a little piece of land across the street. I want to build a pole barn. This is where I'm at right now. And I want to turn this into a something. I don't know what, powder coating or something, sandblasting, classic car shop. I want to do something different. I got have some kind of home career that I can work from home, and we can continue our future, and I can retire and we can live happily after ever, whatever. So at this point, we had a mortgage on our house over there, and so going into winter, we got the shell up. Somehow we managed to get the shell up of this pole barn. And then we had to wait out the winter. And then come spring, we started finishing it up. We didn't have the metal on the outside. We just had the roof on it. So we went through and got the metal done on the outside, built some additions and stuff. And I'm over here. I told my wife, I'd like to move into it. Let's turn it into a barn-dominium. We'll sell the mortgage. So at first she said, no, I ain't living in no barn. So I said, well, just let me get the windows in. So she said, all right. So I put the windows in. She come over and she fell in love with it. She says, yeah, do it. I told her the plan. So we did it. This became our home. We sold that one. But by the time we got done, we had run up a lot of expenses building this into a home, 2,000 square foot home. So and I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So we're here for a year, almost a year. And I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to do. And I just had this roadblock. It's killing me. And I'm laying in bed. I got COVID again. Lo and behold, I'm laying in bed. I'm watching TV. I think I was watching Josh Gates episodes and Destination Unknown, if you know that show. And I thought, I remembered, because I'd forgotten who I was. Throughout all that work that I was doing on house flipping, I'd forgotten who I was. I lost all my joy in life. I'd really done a deep dive. Even after that incident, by the time I was done with everything, I was at my lowest of lows. And so I realized it, and I thought, well, geez, I'd like to do a documentary series. That's what I want to do. Evolution of Building was the name I came up with. So I get a hold of some production companies. They love the idea. They want to be a part of it, but none of them had time. Eventually I realized I'm going to have to build a studio. It's the only way I'm going to get this done is if I build my own studio. So I built my own studio. I started learning how to run the equipment. What do I need? So I started investigating. I didn't know anything about cameras or any of it really. So I started investigating cameras, got nothing but the best cameras, then how to run a studio, how to do editing. I had to learn how to edit. 6 months went by at least. And so I started just playing around, shooting videos, like that one Think Media says, you got to just press record. So I started just recording just whatever stuff I could record and trying to build a little bit of a channel. And I tried a cooking channel. I tried doing a little bit on the evolution of production and evolution of building. And then I set up a channel called Evolution of Production, which is where this video is going to be. And I put it on there. And of course, winter came on again. I did one wedding before winter hit. I shot one wedding. It came out really good. You guys have seen some of the other videos I've done. Not many of you have probably seen the wedding video. And but I did that, and that came out really good. I spent 3 days editing that one video. I mean, it was, oh man, it was unbelievable to edit, but it came out beautiful. So winter hit, and I didn't know what I was going to do again. So here I am again, another roadblock. Now I'm 54 years old. And, 53 at the time, I think. And I got another roadblock. So now I'm in debt up to my eyeballs on camera equipment. I had to take a mortgage out on the house. So we're just bound down. So winter's there, and I had nothing to do. So I thought about, what am I going to do? And I always liked cryptid and paranormal stuff. And I had some stories of my own. So I decided to shoot this video, my first ghost haunting. And I came up with this name, Talk About Strange. You know, what's a good name? And everything I was doing had to do with talking about strange stuff. So I came up with Talk About Strange. And I shot, you guys are listening to me right now on it. I did my first video, invited you guys to send me some messages. And then lo and behold, everybody, people started sending me all these messages. Now, that was fun and inspirational, but still in the back of my mind, there was a lot of pain, a lot of upset, a lot of hurt, a lot of sadness, a lot of stuff happening, in my own life. And I'm hearing you guys' sadness and stuff, and it's building me, it's inspiring me, but I'm helping other people, and that's making me feel good. And it's a really good feeling, but I got a lot of inspiration from it. Then I started finding out how quickly this channel is building, and I didn't understand why. And I really just did not understand why people were coming to this channel and supporting me. But it was remarkable, and it was a great feeling. Did I get outside of my head? No, I still wasn't outside of my head. I've still had thoughts of suicide right while I'm shooting this. Not now, but up until recently, I still have these moments of crushing pain and sadness and frustration and feeling like it's just never going to happen, because it's still not enough to survive. I got this great channel, great people, but I'm not making enough to survive, to pay the bills. Then it dawned on me what I had to do. I knew this is working. This is actually real. It's tangible. I'm actually online, creating videos, talking to you, being watched, getting feedback. This is what I've always dreamed of. It just hadn't dawned on me. I'm actually doing what I've always dreamed of doing. So that was a changing point. So I said, well, you know what? I told my wife, I says, we need to sell. It's scary because we're not going to have a lot left. When we're done, we're not going to have a lot of money left. I mean, we got to pay this mortgage off. We got quite a few bills to get paid off and caught up again. We're starting from scratch again. But you know what? We're going to do it. We can do it because I'm still breathing. I'm still here. And while it's been very frustrating and very complicated, I know it's possible. And I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And so I'm coming up on this other channel I'm doing. And this is all going to be put on Evolution of Production Studio. Don't you go sign up yet. Okay? You look it up. Don't sign up yet. Well, maybe I can work it out. Because on that channel, I'm getting ready to launch. My first episode is going to be 0 to 100,000 in 90 days. My goal is to get from 0 subscribers to 100,000. So right now I got 3 subscribers on there because I've never promoted or done anything with it. I got 3 subscribers. So if I have 10 subscribers by then, I'm just going to start from the 10. I'm going to minus the 10 from whatever. But the goal of the first episode to start is going to be from 0 to 100,000 subscribers in 90 days. And I'm going to do it. And if I don't do it, that's okay. I'm going to keep going. But I'm going to do it. We're going to do it together. So I want you guys to take that as an inspiration and as a note. If you're having a hard time, if you're struggling, things just don't seem to be going right in your life. I want you to remember that it's a state of mind, okay? That only affects you if you allow it to affect you. You can't allow those things to affect you. If somebody doesn't like you, don't let that affect you, because it only affects you if you allow it to affect you. So don't let it affect you. All right. Your bills are there. You just buckle down with bills. You can't afford to pay the bills. And you think, even if you're thinking about checking out, don't check out. Don't check out. If you don't pay them, you don't pay them. So what? They're not going to go without eating. They're not going to go without their vacation, okay? You go away, doesn't matter. Those bills are still there. They're just going to write them off. It's just whatever. It's not worth it. Stick with it. You'll get through it. And if you don't get through it, so what? Stay happy. Enjoy the people around you. There's people that love you and care about you. I love you and care about you. So stick around. Don't give up. If you have a dream, keep pushing. Don't quit. You will succeed. You will get there. I'm about to prove that right now, because on this next channel, it's going to explode. And it's going to be the biggest thing I've ever done. And I'm going to break through all the walls that I couldn't break through throughout my whole life. I've jumped over every hurdle. And there's no more left, because there's no more going to get in my way. Because I'm building up steam, and there's no stopping, because I got you guys behind me. And if as long as I got you guys behind me and I got my inspiration and I'm still breathing, I'm going to get through it. There isn't going to be any stopping us. So I want you guys to watch. I want you guys to follow, subscribe, because we're going to do great things. And when I get this channel up and going, I'm going to do my other lifelong dream, and that's to help other people. All I've ever wanted to do my whole life, my whole goal in becoming a successful individual, is to be able to help other people. That's all I've ever wanted, was to help other people. I want to help other people that are homeless, that don't have a home or just need money. People that are working their asses off every day and going through what I've been through, and they just feel like they're not going to make it, they can't make it. I want to be able to reach out and help those people. I want to change their lives. That's all I've ever wanted to do. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to stop until I accomplish it. And if it don't get there, if I end before then so be it. That's just how it is. It's okay. But as long as I'm breathing, I'm still pushing, and I'm going to get there. So join me. Take this adventure with me. Thank you all so very much. I appreciate you so much. I can never explain how much I appreciate you. Hang in there. Be positive. Keep a positive mind. Remember, it only affects you if you allow it to affect you. Don't let it affect you, okay? You are an individual. The only thing that matters is you, okay? All right. Take care, and I will see you again really soon.